Good evening. This is All India Radio. I'm Abhishek Mukhopadhyay with Ms. Reshma Tiwari with the evening news. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi unveiled Statue of Equality in Hyderabad to commemorate 11th century Bhakti Saint Sri Ramanujacharya. Prime Minister launches 50th anniversary celebrations of International Crops Research Institute for Semi-Arid Tropics, says government is focusing on food security as well as nutrition security. Campaigning in full swing for the first two phases of assembly elections in Uttar Pradesh and single-phase polls in Goa and Uttarakhand. BSP releases list of 54 candidates for sixth phase of elections in Uttar Pradesh. India's COVID vaccination coverage crosses 169 crore mark. In cricket, summit clash of Under-19 World Cup between India and England underway in West Indies. And India to take on West Indies in the first ODI of the three-match series in Ahmedabad tomorrow. As the number of COVID-19 cases is rising fast in several parts of the country, we appeal to our listeners to be vigilant and to get fully vaccinated and help others, including children between 15 and 18 years, get vaccinated. With the new Omicron variant of coronavirus causing concern, please continue to follow these three simple steps to stay safe. Wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki duri for social distancing, focus on hand and face hygiene. For any COVID-related information and guidance, contact national helpline numbers 011-2397-8046 and 1075. And now the news in detail. Prime Minister Narendra Modi dedicated to the nation the Statue of Equality at Munchital in Hyderabad this evening. The 216 feet tall Statue of Equality commemorates the 11th century Bhakti Saint Ramanujacharya, who promoted the idea of equality in all aspects of living, including faith, caste and creed. The Prime Minister dedicated the unique statue by unveiling a plaque as part of the Shrabdi celebrations of Bhakti Saint Sri Ramanujacharya. The statue is made of 5 metals, including gold, silver, copper, brass and zinc. This is one of the tallest metallic statues in sitting position in the world. Addressing the gathering, the Prime Minister said, Statue of Ramanujacharya Ji has been unveiled on the occasion of Basant Panchami today. He prayed to Goddess Saraswati that the life and teachings of Sri Ramanujacharya shows right path to the world.
आज माँ सरस्वती की आराधना के पावन पर्व वसंत पंचमी का शुभ अवसर है। माँ शारदा की विशेष कृपा अवतार श्री रामानुजाचार्य जी की प्रतिमा इस अवसर पर स्थापित हो रही है। मैं आप सभी को वसंत पंचमी की भी शुभकामनाएं देता हूं। मैं माँ सरस्वती से ये प्रार्थना करता हूं कि जगतगुरु रामानुजाचार्य जी का ज्ञान विश्व का पथ प्रदर्शन करे।
The Prime Minister also offered special prayers at the Purnahuti of Vishvaksena Ishti at the Yagshala at Sheshrabdi celebrations of Bhakti Saint Sri Ramanujanam at Munchital near Samshabad. Early in the day, the Prime Minister launched the Golden Jubilee celebrations of the International Crops Research Institute for Semi-Arid Tropics ICRI-SAT at Patancheru. On the occasion, Mr. Modi inaugurated ICRI-SAT's Climate Change Research Facility on Plant Protection and Rapid Generation Advancement Facility. He also launched a commemorative stamp issued on the 50th anniversary celebrations of the ICRI-SAT. Speaking on the occasion, the Prime Minister called for a unified efforts by scientists and people's participation to help the country overcome all challenges in the agricultural sector. He said, through the experience of 5 decades and his holistic approach, ICRI-SAT has made farming efficient and sustainable.
आपके पास 5 दशकों का अनुभव है। इन 5 दशकों में आपने भारत सहित दुनिया के एक बड़े हिस्से में कृषि क्षेत्र की मदद की है। आपकी रिसर्च, आपकी टेक्नोलॉजी ने मुश्किल परिस्थितियों में खेती को आसान और सस्टेनेबल बनाया है।
Stating that India is running the largest food security program in the world, Mr. Modi said the focus is on food security as well as nutrition security. He said several bio-fortified varieties have been developed in the last 7 years. Highlighting that the post-harvest infrastructure has been strengthened, Mr. Modi said the 1 lakh crore rupees Agri-Infra Fund has helped to develop 35 million tons of cold storage in the country. Mr. Modi stressed on the need to tackle the climate change phenomenon and its impact on the agriculture in the country. The Prime Minister said the government's focus is on the fusion of both back to basics and march to future to protect farmers in the country from climate change. He said India has set the target of net zero by 2070. It has also called for a pro-planet people movement, a movement that is crucial to combat climate change and connects every individual with climate.
हमारे छोटे किसान क्लाइमेट चेंज की बात उनके लिए बहुत बड़ा संकट बन जाती है। इसलिए भारत ने क्लाइमेट चैलेंज से निपटने के लिए दुनिया से इस पर विशेष ध्यान देने का आग्रह किया है। भारत ने 2070 तक नेट जीरो का टारगेट तो रखा ही है, हमने लाइफस्टाइल फॉर एनवायरमेंट इस लाइफ मिशन की जरूरत को भी हाईलाइट किया है।
Mr. Modi emphasized that in the Amrit Kal, India is focusing on inclusive growth along with higher agriculture growth. Women in agri-sector have been supported through self-help groups. Mr. Modi said agriculture has the potential to take a large chunk of the population out of poverty and take them towards a better lifestyle. The Prime Minister said that India is working on a dual strategy. On the one hand, a large part of the land has been brought under irrigation through water conservation and connecting of rivers. On the other hand, water use efficiency through micro-irrigation has been encouraged in areas with limited irrigation. The Prime Minister said India has 15 agro-climate zones and thus has varied and ancient experience in agriculture. This experience should be made available to all, in which ICRI-SCT should play a bigger role. Mr. Modi said the Union Budget 2022-23 is focused on natural farming and digital agriculture. Mr. Modi emphasized that digital agriculture is the future of the country and called upon the youth to play a greater role in using the advanced technologies and innovative strategies to help small farmers get cost-effective but high-tech agri-services to enhance their productivity.
डिजिटल टेक्नोलॉजी से कैसे हम किसान को एम्पावर कर सकते हैं, इसके लिए भारत में प्रयास निरंतर बढ़ रहे हैं। क्रॉप असेसमेंट हो, लैंड रिकॉर्ड्स का डिजिटाइजेशन हो, ड्रोन के माध्यम से इंसेक्टिसाइड्स और न्यूट्रिएंट्स की स्प्रेइंग हो, ऐसी अनेक सर्विसेज में टेक्नोलॉजी का उपयोग, आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस का उपयोग बढ़ाया जा रहा है। किसानों को सस्ती और हाई टेक सर्विस देने के लिए एग्रीकल्चर रिसर्च से जुड़े इकोसिस्टम और प्राइवेट एग्रीटेक प्लेयर्स के साथ मिलकर के काम हो रहा है।
Prime Minister Modi assured the small farmers and states on extending all possible support for expansion of oilseed cultivation, especially palm oil. He said National Mission for Self-Reliance in Edible Oils indicates India's new approach. On biofuels, he said international institutes like ICRI-SCT should work with agri-universities on biofuel research and for the enhanced production. Earlier addressing the gathering, Union Agriculture Minister Narendra Tomar lauded Prime Minister's visionary initiatives and efforts to make the country self-reliant.
एक समय था जब कहा गया जय जवान जय किसान। वाजपेयी जी जब प्रधानमंत्री बने तो वाजपेयी जी ने जय जवान जय किसान में जय विज्ञान जोड़ा, और जब मोदी जी ने देश का कार्यभार संभाला तो उन्होंने जवान की भी जय की, किसान की भी जय की, विज्ञान की भी जय की, लेकिन इसमें चौथी बात जय अनुसंधान भी जोड़ा। और इसलिए आज हम मोदी जी की सरकार के किसी भी कार्यकलाप में अध्ययन करके और विश्लेषण करके देखेंगे तो उनका पूरा बल नवाचार, अनुसंधान, अधोसंरचना विकास, आत्मनिर्भर भारत, नया भारत, एक भारत और श्रेष्ठ भारत की कल्पना को मूर्त रूप करता हुआ दिखाई देता है।
The Prime Minister reached Shamshabad Airport in Hyderabad this afternoon. He was received by Telangana Governor Dr. Tamilisai Soundarajan, Union Tourism Minister G. Kishan Reddy and State Chief Secretary Somesh Kumar on his arrival at the airport.
The high-pitch electoral campaign is going on in full swing for the first two phases of seventh-phase assembly elections in Uttar Pradesh and also for the single-phase polls in Goa and Uttarakhand. Our correspondent reports star campaigners and prominent leaders of various political parties are engaged in public rallies for the first two phases in Uttar Pradesh.
Union Information and Broadcasting Minister Anurag Singh Thakur today participated in kite flying with BJP Mahila Morcha and BJP Yuva Morcha workers on the occasion of Basant Panchami at BJP headquarters in Lucknow. He said that this kite flying program is synonymous with the development of UP under PM Modi and CM Yogi's leadership. While campaigning for party candidates in Hapur district, BJP President JP Nadda said that opposition never cared for nation's development, they only cared for their family's development. Senior BJP leader and Defence Minister Rajnath Singh said in Agra that Congress MP Rahul Gandhi talked about China-India clash in Galwan Valley. Now an Australia-based newspaper is saying that 38 to 50 Chinese jawans were killed. Now Indian borders are safe. On the other hand, SP Chief Akhilesh Yadav said in Aligarh that given the anger of the people, the SP and its alliance is going to get 400 seats and opposition will get the remaining 3 seats only. Congress General Secretary Priyanka Gandhi Vadra conducted a door-to-door campaign in Aligarh district. Congress released a list of star campaigners who will campaign for party's candidates in the elections of the state. The list includes Rahul Gandhi, Priyanka Gandhi Vadra, Ghulam Nabi Azad, Ashok Gehlot, Sachin Pilot and Mohammad Azharuddin. Sushil Chandra Tiwari, AIR News, Lucknow.
The BSP has announced a list of 54 candidates for 6th phase of assembly elections in Uttar Pradesh. During the first of 7th phase assembly elections in Uttar Pradesh, there are 623 candidates in fray for 58 seats that will go to polls on the 10th of February. During the second phase of election in Uttar Pradesh, 586 candidates are in fray for 55 assembly seats across 9 districts, while 301 candidates are contesting for 40 seats in Goa and 632 candidates are vying for 70 seats in Uttarakhand. Voting for second phase in Uttar Pradesh and single phase in Goa and Uttarakhand will be held on the 14th of this month. The picture of the electoral battle has also become clear for the third phase of assembly elections in Uttar Pradesh and single phase polls in Punjab after withdrawal of candidature ended last evening. In Uttar Pradesh, in the third phase, there are 627 candidates in fray for 59 seats across 16 districts that will go to polls on the 20th of February. On the same day, single-phase polling in all the 717 assembly constituencies of Punjab will also take place, for which a total of 1,304 candidates are in the fray. Meanwhile, the political activities have also begun in poll-bound states of Punjab and Manipur. Union Minister and senior BJP leader Hardeep Singh Puri today said that there is an acute governance crisis in Punjab and the state's economy is in very bad shape. Addressing media in Ludhiana, he said land mafia, mining mafia and corruption have ruined the economy of Congress-led Punjab, whose chief minister himself is facing serious corruption charges. Over 300 youth from the state joined the BJP in the presence of Mr. Puri and BJP National General Secretary Dushyant Gautam. The scrutiny of nominations took place yesterday for the 4th phase of assembly elections in Uttar Pradesh, for which polling will be held on the 23rd of this month. In all, 652 nominations were found valid during the scrutiny. The filing of nominations is underway for the 5th phase in Uttar Pradesh, along with the first of 2-phase polling in Manipur, which will take place on the 27th of February. The process of filing nominations is also underway for the 6th phase in Uttar Pradesh, as well as the second and last phase polling in Manipur that will be conducted on the 3rd of March. In Manipur, around 20 candidates, including Chief Minister N. Biren Singh, filed their nomination papers for the first phase of assembly elections in the state today. More from our Imphal correspondent.
Manipur Chief Minister N. Biren Singh filed his nomination paper from Haingang Assembly constituency of Imphal East District today. Sri Biren is contesting the upcoming election on BJP ticket. 3 sitting MLAs also filed their nomination papers as BJP candidates today for first phase poll. They are L. Suchindro from Kurai AC, Tongbram Robindro from Thanga AC and R.K. Imo from Sagolban AC. The president of Manipur Pradesh Congress Committee and INC candidate N. Loken filed his nomination paper today. The sitting MLA is contesting in Nambol AC. Another veteran Congress leader and sitting MLA T.N. Haukip also submitted his nomination paper to the returning officer of Saikot AC today. JJ Thoksom, AIR News, Imphal.
Former Punjab Chief Minister and Shiromani Akali Dal Patriarch Prakash Singh Badal, who recently recovered from COVID-19, was admitted to PGIMER in Chandigarh this afternoon. The head of the Advanced Cardiac Centre, Professor Yashpal Sharma, said Mr. Badal has been admitted due to pain in chest and problem in breathing. The 94-year-old leader is a 5-time Chief Minister and is seeking re-election from Lambi constituency in the upcoming Punjab Assembly elections.
India's COVID-19 vaccination coverage crossed 169 crore mark today. Till now, over 169 crore 55,000 doses have been administered. Health Ministry said more than 57,000 vaccine doses were administered today. It said more than 1 crore 98,000 precaution doses have been administered to identified categories of beneficiaries like healthcare workers, frontline workers and people over 60 years age. The country reported over 1,27,000 new COVID cases in the last 24 hours. The national recovery rate stands at 95.64%. Veteran singer Lata Mangeshkar, who has been admitted in the ICU of a Mumbai hospital since last month, is critical. As per a statement from a doctor at the Bridge Candy Hospital, the condition of the singer has deteriorated again and she is on a ventilator and critical. The 92-year-old singer was admitted to Bridge Candy Hospital on the 8th of January after she was diagnosed with COVID-19 and pneumonia.
In the United States, the death count from the COVID-19 pandemic surpassed 9 lakh yesterday, according to the Johns Hopkins University Coronavirus Tracker. The count had hit 8 lakh in mid-December, just a month and a half ago. New cases linked to the Omicron variant are falling, but daily deaths are still rising, with an average of 2,400 now, according to government figures. In America, only 64% of the population is fully immunized, despite effective vaccines being widely available. The National Medical Commission, NMC, has issued guidelines for determination of fees and all other charges in respect of 50% of the seats in private medical institutions and deemed to be universities governed under NMC Act 2019. In an office memorandum, the Commission said, after extensive consultations, it has been decided that the fee of 50% seats in private medical colleges and deemed universities should be at par with the fee in the government medical colleges of that particular state and union territory. The NMC said the benefit of the fee structure would be first made available to those candidates who have availed government quota seats, but limited to the extent of 50% of total sanctioned strength of the medical college or deemed university. It said, however, if the government quota seats are less than 50% of total sanctioned seats, the remaining candidates would avail benefit of fee, equivalent to the government medical college fee, based purely on the merit. The order comes as a relief for students from economically backward sections who cannot pursue MBBS even after securing better scores in the eligibility tests.
Union Minister for Consumer Affairs, Food and Civil Supply Piyush Goyal has said inland waterways have been identified among 7 prominent growth engines of development in the ambitious PM Gati Shakti National Master Plan for multi-modal connectivity. The minister was addressing a function through video conference organized at Gaighat Inland Waterways Terminal in Patna today. Mr. Goyal said inland waterways will reduce the logistic cost of cargo handling and also promote ease of doing business in the country. He said the NDA government has allocated 4,600 crore rupees for Jal Marg Vikas project, JMVP, which will enhance the capacity of waterways up to cargo handling of 2,000 metric tons. You are listening to the evening news on All India Radio. For quick news updates around the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle @AIR News Alerts.
अपने बिजनेस को बढ़ाने के लिए लीजिए आकाशवाणी का सहयोग और दीजिए उसे बुलंदियों के पंख।
आपका बिजनेस लोकल है या राष्ट्रीय, आकाशवाणी देती है उपभोक्ताओं तक पहुंचने का हर विकल्प।
और अब तो आप घर, दफ्तर या दुकान पर बैठे बैठे कर सकते हैं आकाशवाणी के किसी भी केंद्र के लिए विज्ञापनों की बुकिंग।
आकाशवाणी के विभिन्न चैनलों पर विज्ञापन देना सुलभ और सस्ता।
बुकिंग है तो संपर्क करें 8700014242 पर।
8700014242।
चलो मिलकर एक शुरुआत करें, चलो एक फैसला आज करें, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे, चलो एक इरादा करते हैं, चलो खुद से वादा करते हैं, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे।
Now, here's a review of the week's Parliament proceedings. Discussion on the motion of thanks and President address to the joint sitting of both the Houses of Parliament and several matters of public importance figured in the first week proceedings of the budget session. Several members participated in the discussion in the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha. Two BJP MPs from Uttar Pradesh on Wednesday highlighted the achievements of the Modi government at the centre and the Yogi government of Uttar Pradesh. They said 4.5 lakh youths were given jobs and 36,000 crore rupees worth pharma loans were waived off in the last 5 years. Initiating the debate on the motion of thanks, Harish Dwivedi of the BJP slammed the previous governments at the centre and in Uttar Pradesh for only providing lip services rather than actually working for the welfare of the poor and the backward classes. Dwivedi said during the COVID-19 pandemic, the Modi government has provided free food grains to 80 crore poor people across the country, while Yogi government supplemented the scheme by providing additional assistance to the poor and the marginalized in Uttar Pradesh. He said 4,600 special trains were run during the lockdown which transported 66 lakh migrant workers. The Modi government has also provided 165 crore COVID-19 vaccines free of cost to the people in the country, he said. Dwivedi also said that a number of flagship schemes are being run by the Modi government for providing free LPG and electricity connections, free houses and free health service to the people. Participating in the debate, Congress leader Rahul Gandhi alleged that the Modi government has created two India, one of the rich and the other of the poor, and the gap between the two are growing. He said the presidential address did not touch central challenges facing the country. In Rajya Sabha, moving the motion of thanks, Geeta, alias Chandra Prabha of the BJP, said people are repeatedly giving a clear mandate to the NDA because it is making efforts to bring equality to the welfare of the downtrodden, exploited and backward classes while ensuring the country's development. She said as many as 27 ministers are from OBCs in the Union Council of Ministers and 20 belong to SC and ST communities, while 11 union ministers are women. She also highlighted the implementation of various welfare measures in the poll-bound states where the first phase of voting will be held on February 10, 2022. The BJP MP also pointed to the government's efforts for women empowerment, which includes raising the age for marriage for girls to 21 years from 18. Shwet Malik of the BJP, Ram Gopal Yadav of the Samajwadi Party, Tiruchi Shiva of the DMK and Sukhendu Shekhar Ray of the Trinamool Congress, among others, also participated in the discussion. Leader of the opposition, Mallikarjun Kharge, charged the government with not delivering on its various promises, including providing 2 crore jobs per year. He alleged that the government has failed to control price rise of essential commodities like petroleum products and daily food items. Fawzia Khan of the NCP, Sushil Kumar Modi of the BJP and Sanjay Singh of the Aam Aadmi Party raised several matters of public importance.
On Thursday, the Lok Sabha has resumed discussion on the motion of thanks and presidential address. Pinaki Mishra of BJD, Rajiv Ranjan Singh of JDU, Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary of Congress, Rajyavardhan Singh Rathore of BJP, among others, who participated in the discussion. Another BJP MP, Jaskor Meena from Rajasthan, demanded cancellation of the REIT examination. The Rajya Sabha resumed normal disruption-free functioning with members participating in the debate on the motion of thanks on the President's address. Responding to this, Chairman M. Venkaiah Naidu expressed happiness over the development during the current budget session and hoped the MPs should let that spirit prevail for the rest of the session. The upper house resumed the debate on the motion of thanks with Union Minister Mukhtar Abbas Naqvi leading the charge from the ruling party side. Mr. Naqvi claimed that the politics of cuts, corruption and appeasement is over and there are no pressures of middlemen or nepotism in this government. Some members raised various issues including the early appointment of the next Chief of Defence Staff, CDS, giving exemption to Tamil Nadu students from NEET examinations and higher investments in Assam. A.D. Singh of RJD, M. Thambidurai of AIADMK, Birendra Prasad Bhaishya of AGP, Digvijay Singh of Congress and Sasmit Patra of BJD were among others who participated in the discussion. Ilamaram Karim of the CPI-M, K.C. Venugopal of the Congress, B. Lingaya Yadav of TRS, M. Shanmugam of DMK, Rakesh Sinha, nominated member, Amar Patnaik of BJD, Shakti Singh Gohil of Congress, Shantanu Sen of TMC, Jose K. Mani of Kerala Congress and Vikas Mahatme of BJP raised issues during the 0 hour. On Friday, cutting across party lines, members in the Lok Sabha expressed concern over certain remarks by an MP on Speaker Om Birla's conduct in the House and said the dignity of the House and the chair must be upheld. Responding to this, Speaker said that members should be careful while making comments both inside and outside the House or on social media. Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary of Congress, Sudeep Bandyopadhyay of TMC, Arvind Sawant of Shiv Sena, A. Raja of DMK, Farooq Abdullah of National Conference, Ritesh Pandey of BSP, Supriya Sule of NCP, Bhartrihari Mehtab of BJD called for honouring the dignity of the Speaker and the Chair. Agriculture Minister Narendra Singh Tomar said the government fully appreciates the efforts of the Speaker for conducting the House smoothly with everyone's cooperation. Later, the Lok Sabha resumed debate on the motion of thanks on President's address. Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary of Congress and Kirit Solanki of BJP were among others who participated in the discussion. The Rajya Sabha on Friday resumed the discussion on the motion of thanks. Prasanna Acharya of BJD, K. Somaprasad of CPIM, Manoj Kumar Jha of RJD, Priyanka Chaturvedi of Shiv Sena and K. Ravindra Kumar of TDP took part in the discussion. Being Friday, the House took up private members' bill on population regulation moved by Rakesh Sinha of BJP. Several opposition members expressed concerns, saying that Indian women of this generation will be the biggest victims. The proposed bill aims at seeking to regulate population by promoting two-child per couple policy. Fawzia Khan of NCP and L. Hanumantaiah, both from Congress, expressed apprehensions that the move is targeted at a particular community and if passed, it will only further marginalize the marginalized. Earlier, the Rajya Sabha witnessed noisy scenes followed by a walkout by DMK, Congress, left parties, RJD and TMC members over the Tamil Nadu governor's decision to return the NEET exemption bill. Chairman Venkaiah Naidu later said people were feeling happy that the Rajya Sabha was functioning without disruption and members are having their say. He also urged the members to follow rules and not disrupt. That's all in the weekly Parliament Review. Best wishes to all consumers for Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. Hallmark ensures purity of gold. Always purchase hallmarked gold jewellery. For any consumer-related complaints, please contact National Consumer Helpline's toll-free number 14404. Issued in public interest by Department of Consumer Affairs, Government of India. Jago Grahak Jago.
The festival of Basant Panchami and Saraswati Puja have been celebrated in different parts of the country today with religious fervour and traditional gaiety. People, especially students, worship Saraswati, the goddess of wisdom and knowledge, on the day. President Ramnath Kovind, Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu and Prime Minister Narendra Modi have greeted people on the occasion. Information and Broadcasting Minister Anurag Thakur has also extended his best wishes to the people. In cricket, England were 130 for 7 in 32.1 overs against India in the summit clash of the ICC Under-19 World Cup at Sir Vivian Richards Stadium in West Indies when reports last came in. Earlier, England won the toss and opted to bat first in the final at North Sound. India is eyeing a record extending fifth title at this level, while England aim for the second Under-19 World Cup triumph and the first in 24 years. The first one-day international and the three-match series between India and West Indies will be played at the Narendra Modi Stadium in Ahmedabad tomorrow. The second ODI will be played on the 9th of this month and the third ODI will be played on the 11th of February. All three matches of the ODI series will be played at the Narendra Modi Stadium in Ahmedabad. Now let us take a look at the weather forecast. So tomorrow, the national capital Delhi is likely to have dense fog. The temperature will vary between 8 and 18 degrees Celsius. Mumbai will have mainly clear sky. Chennai and Kolkata is likely to have fog in the morning and partly cloudy sky later. Srinagar will have generally cloudy sky with light rain or drizzle. Gilgit will have generally cloudy sky with light rain. Muzaffarabad will have cloudy sky. Hyderabad and Bangalore will have fog in the morning. Imphal, Shillong, Aizawl, Kohima and Itanagar will have generally cloudy sky with light rain. And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi unveiled Statue of Equality in Hyderabad to commemorate 11th century Bhakti saint Sri Ramanujacharya. Prime Minister launches 50th anniversary celebrations of International Crops Research Institute for Semi-Arid Tropics, says government is focusing on food security as well as nutrition security. Campaigning in full swing for the first two phases of assembly elections in Uttar Pradesh and single-phase polls in Goa and Uttarakhand. BSP releases list of 54 candidates for sixth phase of elections in Uttar Pradesh. India's COVID vaccination coverage crosses 169 crore mark. In cricket, summit clash of Under-19 World Cup between India and England underway in West Indies. And India to take on West Indies in the first ODI of the 3-match series in Ahmedabad tomorrow. And with that we end the evening news. Good night.